I'm Dave Erb from Dave's Ultimate Automotive, and we're going to be talking about how to tell if a car has a valve cover gasket leak. What we've got here is we happen to have an engine out of a Honda. This one will be real simple to tell if it had a valve cover gasket leak, but this applies to most any car. Most cars will look like this as far as whether it's a V6, which means it look like this, only two of them, two valve covers. This is a single valve cover engine. Most valve covers will have a definite line between the head, the valve cover itself, and the head. You can see here this one's black, and then the aluminum head starts here. If it had a valve cover gasket leak, it would be leaking along this seam right here, and this would be true of any car with valve cover gaskets. It would be where the valve cover meets the head, and usually a pretty distinct differential between that valve cover and that head. There's a gasket inside here that gets hard and dry over time. When you're checking for a valve cover gasket leak, if you clean this area, if you see a lot of oil in this area, and you clean it, it's not going to be a pressure leak or a fast leak. This is not under a tremendous amount of pressure in here. It's simply the flow and spray of the oil inside the valve cover. So it may take some time for it to come back. So let it run for a while, clean it up, let it run, and check and see if it's starting to flow from the valve cover. On this particular type, you can see that these are actually the spark plug boots that come down inside the valve cover to the head where the spark plug is. If it has a leak, without doing any of that, you can tell this has a leak if you were to pull the spark plugs out and find this to be saturated with oil, meaning the valve cover is leaking down inside this hole. And that would basically say immediately replace the valve cover and clean the holes out, replace whatever contaminated boots would be. Not all setups are like that. But it does hold true that, once again, there'd be a differential between this valve cover and this head, this line, and that's where the leak would be.